tell you a bit about my team. Like GRAT, it comes from it. It's kind of a cheesy name, like GRAT. Actually, it actually stands for Global Research and Analysis Team. Um, we have been operational since almost like 12 years now, and we are both experts from 20 different countries. We are like 40 plus researchers all around the world. So I'm based in Romania. My manager and the manager of the team is based in Romania. His name is Costin Raju. But we have like 10 people in Europe. We have like 3 people in US, 4 people in Latin America. Unfortunately, nobody in Canada yet, but who knows. We have some people in Asia and in India as well. So we are like all around the world, and this means that we can work like 24 hours. Like when Europe is sleeping, people from America are working on cases and etc. Also, this means that we are distributed and we are focusing on local threats. So basically, if there's an attack on some company or some bank in US, there's a person, my colleague, who can go there and then who can investigate the attack. We are responsible for threat intelligence, research, and we focus on advanced persistent threats, critical infrastructure, financial threats, and sophisticated targeted attacks, such as attacks against banks, against governments, against energy suppliers, and so on. And there are 3 stages. There's traditional malware or traditional cybercrime. And those this kind of malware, since like 80% of this malware is like normal crime where, let's say, keyloggers. A keylogger is a program that intercepts whatever you're typing on your keyboard, whatever it grabs your screen, it takes screenshots, things like that. They're called RAT, like remote administration tools. There's like a lot of them, some of them open source, some of them paid, and like there's also like ransomware, crypto lockers, those types of malware. They consist of like 80%. Now there's like 19% of attacks which are targeted attacks, and these targeted attacks are actually more interesting because we see like an attacker. If an attacker wants to breach your network, they will do reconnaissance before that. So basically, the attacker will come, they will identify important people in the company, they will identify the pattern of the emails that are being sent to and from your company, within your company. If they can do that, they will identify the various websites, various services that you're using, and he will try to, with that knowledge, the attacker will try to infiltrate your company and then to and craft specific attacks, like emails that are looking the same, or like he might be using a domain name that is like very similar to the like original domain name that the company is using, like it's called type of domain squatting. um, these kind of attacks, and those are like more powerful because they can be more devastating because an attacker is motivated to go for a specific target. And the remaining 0.01% of those attacks are called APT. APT attacks are very advanced, and they are made mostly are like launched mostly from different groups, like specialized group, highly skilled groups, and their aim is to either infiltrate the network, extract data, destroy some equipment, as we've seen before in some years, and their aim is to be as stealth as possible sometimes, so they can remain in the network for months or years. So this was like pretty crazy. And now, like I just want to give you like a idea of like how much it costs for a breach. And like small businesses, it costs like 100K. Enterprises like $3 million, and that's a problem. Like if you get breached, it's gonna take like a lot of money to get back to where you are. Please don't drop out to join cyber criminals. Join the good guys like us. We also have like internship programs. Unfortunately, most of them are like in Russia, but I will tell you at the end. I can give you some hints if you want to go into this field of doing like, you can do like red teaming, which is like the legal way, or you can do like a defense, like blue teaming, like what I'm doing. There's like a lot of stuff you can do. So basically, it costs a lot. If there's like a breach on your network, there's like a lot of money your company will spend. And what I wanted to show you is like the fourth point is like 71% of breaches were financially motivated. So the idea is that nowadays we have like attackers, like groups of attackers out of like the 900 that we know about, and they go for the money. They just like go try to breach your network to steal money. What I'm showing you here is the golden age of APTs. So they all start with a pretty interesting and the most famous one, which is Stuxnet. And maybe you can write in chat if you heard about Stuxnet, or if you like read about it, or like at classes, during classes, or like if some of our professors told you about it. Keanu says he heard about Stuxnet. That's pretty good. Aidan says as well. So it all started with Stuxnet, the first weaponized malware. Then, as years passed by, we started uncovering more and more APT campaigns. And the reason I'm not showing you the 2021 campaign is because they wouldn't fit in on the screen. And this is pretty crazy because in 2020, like last year, we monitored more than 900 operations and groups. So 900 unique operations and groups, um, which were like similar to the ones you've seen before. And they're using various tactics, various techniques, various tools. What's worth mentioning is that 20 of them are commercial. So when I say commercial, I mean groups which are selling their tools for the highest bidder, for like whoever is paying for those ones, in order to help their buyers penetrate networks. They are selling access to compromised networks. They might be selling tools with vulnerabilities like zero-day vulnerabilities. I wouldn't say RCE auctions, but there are like mostly like zero day auctions where they sell their tools or they sell their exploits. So nowadays you might find, let's say if your target is like a well-known company, you might not want to attack the company itself. You go on the black market and you find if somebody already gained access to the network, you just buy access from them, and then you infiltrate their network, maybe steal some of their files, and etc etc. Out of those 900 operations, at least 25 groups are Chinese speaking groups. And this is pretty interesting, like from one country, 25 of them to be like Chinese speaking. That's pretty crazy. But I want to give you like a backstory, a bit of like what happened. And I made a selection of my, let's say, the most interesting APTs that happened in the past 10 years. And remember, I mentioned the golden age of APTs, and we as a team started in 2008. It was a pretty crazy and pretty smart move from our CEO, who said our CEO is called Eugene Kaspersky, and he said that he's in the industry. He is in the industry from 1997, and he said that, hey, we need a team to focus on those attacks. In 2008, he didn't know that those attacks existed, but he kind of figured it out. He kind of like had a intuition saying that, hey, those attacks might happen in the future. So he created our team. And lo and behold, 2 years later, we found about Stuxnet. What would happen in 2020? So what happened? We've seen that there is malware which is not targeting only Windows. So we have like a Linux, Mac, and routers which were like attacked by malware. And this is pretty crazy because I see a lot of people saying, hey, I have a Mac, I don't need an antivirus, right? Macs don't have viruses. This is completely false. And we've seen like malware, like aggressively targeting Mac computers as well, but also routers and also IoT appliances. That was like pretty crazy. We've seen malware infecting UEFI firmware. If you don't know what UEFI is, you might know what BIOS is, like the operating system that is like controlling, that is being executed at the beginning of when you turn on your laptop. So before Windows starts, there's like an operating system called BIOS. BIOS is like the old version. UEFI is like the newer one. And they were like infecting the UEFI in order to gain access. We've seen attacks, mobile implants on iOS and on Android in the wild attacks. So basically a malware which was targeting iOS devices and Android devices. Um, we've seen a lot of COVID-19 topics. So we've seen basically groups, APT groups targeting vaccine companies, or doing companies doing research about like COVID-19 vaccines, and attackers trying to steal data or to disrupt them, or to mostly steal data. No, I haven't seen If you're more into this one, you can check also one webinar which was done by my manager, and they also have like this kind of like the same format there. Like we overlap the information a bit. Check out the webinar; it's free. Like actually, what you can do is you can participate in CTF challenges, like CTF competitions. CTF comes from capture the flag, and what you can do is go to ctftime.org, and you can see like all the competitions, the hacking competitions that are happening right now. For sure, there are like a lot of for example, when I was like a student like yourself, I was um, I was participating in like university competitions, and those competitions are meant in such a way that it's a controlled environment. You will not get in trouble for hacking, and then you just test your knowledge of like bypassing various websites, like cracking some programs, but it's like safe in a controlled environment. I can give you another link from a friend, some friends of mine. Let me check this one. Let me check this one. It's called Cyber and they have this platform where you can when you can log in, you can create an account, and you can do like challenges. And this is how you start. Like they have like easy challenges, they have like medium, hard, and this kind of stuff. Like you go. Oh yeah, yeah. We've won. I've won with my team. I've won some of them. Unfortunately, um, now I don't have time to participate in so many competitions. But there are like student teams which are actually doing this like kind of full time. Yeah, yeah. Form a team and then participate. Like it's crazy. There's like the latest cyber ed competition had like prizes of $7,000. So yeah, yeah. Like for real, it's pretty good. And then you can go like there's like bug bounty programs. Well, it's a lot of stuff. So, well, some of them they do get, or they do get identified. It's not our job to identify. Well, unfortunately, we can't identify them because we're not law enforcement. We are a private company, and like we can't go to somebody's website and say like, you tell us. No, like we're cooperating with law enforcement. Sometimes we do joint operations, but it's the law enforcement going and fetching the data. And to be honest, this is how it should be done. Like in order to make sure there's no abuses, in order to make sure that you your data as a citizen is safe. Um, so most of the times, like they don't get caught most of the times, but there are some cases where they do get caught. For example, if you've watched the U.S. Indictment, like the Department of Justice indictments, you see like 10, 12 like people called by name saying like, hey, this guy was part of this group, they were hacking this stuff, yada yada yada, and we know exactly that this group is the one that we wrote about, we published before, and this guy is like the malware developer. Sometimes we find their nicknames, we find comments in their malware code, um, because they're software developers, no, they write softwares, and sometimes they forget to remove their stuff. So we see like some comments, we see some names, some usernames, and then we see in the indictment, we see the username. It's it's this guy who wrote this. um, some colleagues of mine who are like better than me in reversing, they actually can look at a piece of code, compiled piece of code, and they can see, this code was written by this guy because I know his style, or his like programming style, like how he uses the variables, like what variables he's using, like how he's the way he's using the operands. Like for example, we released a blog post where we identified two pieces of malware based on how they generate a random number for their malware to slip. So just by looking at how they generate a random number of seconds, we could match those two stuff. So basically, you look at the code and then you identify this person wrote this one, another person wrote this one. First of all, learn fundamentals. Mm, security, even if it's like red teaming or blue teaming. Red teaming means that you attack, So basically, you can go, you can get hired by a company who's doing pen testing. This company then gets hired by a bank, let's say like a Deutsche Bank or Bank of America, and Bank of America says, "Hey, I would like you to do a pen testing on my infrastructure in order to make sure that I'm protected against real attacks." And then you, part of the pen testing team, like the red team, you actually deploy attacks as in real life, but you are covered by the contract, and basically they can't go after you. There were some cases when some companies went after the pen testing tactics. Fuck up, it was a fuck up. So basically, you can be like red team or you can blue team, like I am, which are like trying to defend, trying to like protect or build tools. In both cases, or you can be like black and like you be a hacker who is like accessing systems without approval, without like a prior contract, or like stealing money. You can also be like that. I don't know. Like maybe some of you will end up like that. Sure. Um, it's like inevitable. It's like how the world works. It's more money for sure. Like they're stealing like $20 million, like $10 million, and things like that. But it's high risk and high gains. Because like high gains you get a lot, but high risk because you can get caught and then you're fucked because you have to go to jail. This is a good question. If you're developing tools, I would say as the trend for software developing is also Python is king. Like Python is like super good. Actually, if you want, like I would strongly suggest you to learn Python. And like Python with like libraries, Python libraries, like just do an app, like web app. Or, for exploits, also Python is used a lot. Then like C and stuff. What do I tell my friend if he only uses C that Python is better? Holy shit! Tell him that like he needs to check his
Get him to write a web scraper and see.
yeah, exactly. No, tell him he needs to check his boundaries more often. Yeah, like web scrape or like fetching stuff in C is like crazy. Like there are libraries, but like really,
It's
like
just more work for no reason, you know?
yeah,
Like
exactly.
in
Like
Python. Sorry, go on.
C is fast and it's useful for mm, okay for like specific scenarios, and like the Linux kernel is written in C, yeah, and it needs to be fast.
Hmm.
It's like way faster than Python for sure. But then you have to ask yourself like, how fast do I want to be? Because like if you're running on like modern operating systems, like modern laptops, like 8 cores, like a Ryzen 3 or Ryzen 5, like 16 cores, like you're not gonna be like that faster than the other one. And good
Yeah.
luck to him like using threads. Like good luck to him like using that one. So tell him that like he needs to be more flexible. He should learn C and Python.
I wonder how much work you have to like put in to do mutex related stuff in C.
Not a lot, but depends. You need to have libraries. If you don't have, if you don't use the libraries and you write everything like from scratch. mm.
Ouch.
So Julia loves C. Oh, okay. Well, I used to program in C in my university, but then I started learning Python, and now I switched to Python.